You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. It is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we have got your Days of Our Lives early editions. These are early official spoilers for next week, the week of June 19th through June 23rd. We get a glimpse of these a little early. We want to talk about what these are, what they mean in the context to the known spoilers, and just kind of give you a heads up for action you can look for next week on your favorite streaming soap opera. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, updates, casting news, and early edition spoilers just like this one. All right, the first thing we want to talk about is that amnesiac Abe Carver is getting suspicious of crazy Nurse Whitley King. And, you know, this is such a weird little sideline, side burner plot that Days has come up with, because you remember Nurse Whitley saw Abe in the hospital. He had a head wound. He was out of it. He mistook her for Paulina Price for just a second, but that was long enough for Whitley to go, hey, I'm just going to steal myself a husband. And she took him back to the Crazy Cat condo, and that's where he's living. And pretty much all he does is eat off a TV tray, play with stuffed kitties, and watch VCR reruns that she taped of the 80s soap Body and Soul. It's all so bizarre. And so Abe gets suspicious of Whitley next week. He had a dream about Paulina, and it was his real Paulina's face, but he's still very confused. He's blaming it on the head injury. When Rafe Hernandez came to the apartment, he didn't answer the door. I mean, poor Abe is just a mess. Next week, he's going to get suspicious of Whitley, but I don't think she's going to let him go. A lot of fans are saying this is a lot like the movie Misery, where crazy Annie kept the author in her cabin, and then she ended up like breaking his ankles so he couldn't go. Oh gosh, if you haven't seen Misery, it's so good. It stars Kathy Bates and James Caan. And yes, this is definitely giving off Misery vibes. All right, the next early spoiler we have is about Talia Hunter and Chanel Dupree. Now remember, it was Colin Bedford who was pushing Talia to do these mean things, and he was pushing her to seduce Chanel to get close to her. He wanted her to have Chanel fall in love with Talia, and then Talia break her heart. And it definitely seemed like she was making a little dent with Chanel, but still, it actually didn't seem like Talia is into women. So I don't know what direction they're taking this in, if Talia is going to somehow evade jail for, biscuit poisoning half the town, or if she's going to be sent off somewhere. But she and Chanel do get a chance to talk things out. And you might remember that Chanel was furious to find out that Talia had gotten bail, because as far as she was concerned, she needs to just stay in jail. But you also remember that Talia went off a roof with Colin to save Chanel and Paulina with no regard for her own safety. Just side note, I mean, Colin wasn't planning very well. If that's the roof, he was planning on Paulina going off to die, because they pretty much both walked away from it without a scratch. So, hey, that's what happens with soap injuries, right? So the question remains, will Talia be back to being a doctor after this? Since I don't think she's going to be a baker, can she get a doctor job after plotting to do bad things to people? And where does this leave Chanel's love life? Looks like in tatters. All right, let's talk about the next thing. This is just a sweet spoiler, and I don't even think it moves any storyline forward, but we have to share it because it's official and it is sweet. Kayla Brady enjoys a romantic evening with her husband, Steve Johnson. That's the spoiler. That's it. And it's just kind of funny because a lot of people who have seen this spoiler have been like, they're married. Shouldn't they be having dinner anyway? And well, at any rate, Kayla, he thought she was dead for a while, she was missing. And so maybe now that everything is calmed down and all the ladies are back in Salem, that Steve has a chance to show Kayla just how much he missed her and how much he appreciates her. I think it's very sweet. Usually when people enjoy an evening of romance in Salem, it's always interrupted by nonsense. So I'll be real surprised if Kayla and Steve do get their full night of romance, because Stephanie Johnson is staying with them and she's got two guys sniffing around her. So it could be that Chad shows up to interrupt or Alex Kyriakis shows up to interrupt. We will have to wait and see. All right, our fourth and final early edition spoiler for Days of Our Lives is about Leo and Megan. I'm going to share it with you in just a second, but hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of your favorite Days of Our Lives updates, spoilers, and casting news. All right, so this one is kind of interesting. Little Leo Stark is going to confront Megan Hathaway. That seems like a fool's game because Megan is treacherous and deadly, and Leo's crazy for even getting into it with her. Maybe he doesn't like the fact that Megan is trying to fix up his bestie Gwen with her son Dimitri. And of course, Dimitri von Leuschner is no fan of Leo Stark because they had a whole to-do with the Alamanian Peacock jewels. But what's also interesting about Leo confronting Megan is that while he's confronting her and she's plotting against the rest of the Damaras, there are two people in Salem plotting against her that she has no idea about, and that is Harris Michaels and Kate Roberts. Kate offered Harris a job that she would pay him to get rid of Megan. She just wants Megan gone. I mean, let's be real. Megan was using her and the other ladies as a guinea pig, and she was fully prepared to kill Kate, but then she's gotten this pardon thanks to her son Dimitri. So Harris doesn't want Megan on the loose either because remember, she was using him like a puppet and had him brainwashed. So I tend to think that he's going to take this kidnapping very seriously. So at the same time that Leo is confronting Megan, maybe he won't have as much to worry about because she's going to be kidnapped very soon. Check back later this week for our full episode featuring all the detailed Days of Our Lives dated spoilers for each day of next week. But for right now, we hope you enjoyed these early edition spoilers, and we'd love to hear which storyline you're most interested in. For me, I'm kind of interested in Abe going completely ham on Whitley, throwing her stuffed cats at her. I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about this little Leo Megan thing, but I think she's going to eat his lunch. I don't think he knows who he's messing with when he's messing with Megan Hathaway.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.